Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing everything you need to know in Bitcoin going down this week, including the latest technical analysis. Also, breaking news: Hong Kong to approve more Bitcoin and crypto exchanges this year. China's getting prepared. Let's go. And Max Kaiser sends a message to the Muslim community. It's so freaking obvious Bitcoin is okay under Sharia law. Preach. Also, big news. Who's Nick Szabo? The man believed to be the Bitcoin inventor, Satoshi Nakamoto? Well, the big HBO Satoshi documentary mystery gets revealed today. I'll be sharing the latest. We'll also be discussing Crypto.com sues the SEC to protect the future of crypto in the United States. This is following the recent Wells notice from the SEC. We'll also be discussing 4 bold predictions for Bitcoin this year after the 2024 presidential election, now less than a month out. We'll also be discussing traders predict Q4 fireworks of a Bitcoin to 90 G's. It says Bitcoin is prime for a mid-October breakout. I'll be sharing the targets. We'll also be discussing VC billionaire legendary investor Tim Draper says Bitcoin would hit 250,000 fast under this one condition. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much motherfucking more in today's show. If you're new to the YouTube channel, important to smash the likes. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 1781. I'm your host, JV. It's October 8th, 2024. Second week of October is amongst us. Let's break down the market. Before we dive into some technical analysis, pull up the live charts and read the latest headlines for y'all. As you can see here on your screen, according to Coin360, live it in the flesh, we're currently sitting just above 62,300. Bitcoin corrected 1.5% on the day. We have Ether down 0.25%, trading above 2,400. We have Solana down 2%, XRP in the red, majority of the alts correcting and in the red. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. Current crypto market cap is on the decline, currently $2.16 trillion. The Bitcoin market cap at a modest 1.19. I'm sorry, that was Tether. My apologies. I was going to say $1.2 trillion for the Biddy. And so Bitcoin's holding itself, but not so great for the rest of the market. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Agent up 12%. We got Nero up 5.5%. And Aptos up 4%. Below that, we have Privacy Coin Monero. Good to see Monero making a little action happen here. The Monero market cap looks like it's 2.7 billion. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I get confused with so many of these damn commas, but finally in the green. And let me know which alt, if any, you're most bullish on for the bull. And checking out the crypto bubbles. Unfortunately for the day, not much in the green. And zooming out on the monthly, virtually everything in the green. Ironic though, not Monero. Monero down 13.5% on the month. We also have HNT down 17.5% and Chill down 29%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, one of my favorite indicators, hence why we cover it every day. We're currently rated a 49 neutral. Yesterday was a 50, last week a 50, and last month a 29 in fear. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 185,196 blocks yet to go into the next halving of 2028. We're currently on block number 864,804. And how many sats can you currently stack for $1? That's the $1 million question. And today it's 1,608. So for every dollar you trade for Satoshis, you'll get 1,608 of them. So stack sats accordingly, fam. So let's dive into today's astrology for the broskies. We'll also be pulling up some of the live charts. Headline here reads, Bitcoin price faltered at 64,000 yet again. Why is that? We did just tap 64 and immediately started correcting. So here's the dealio. This is the Bitcoin/USD global money base chart you're looking at via TradingView. In reality, socio-political events seem to be the primary driver of the Bitcoin limited upside, considering that the global monetary base, the M2, has expanded from 104 trillion in June to 108 trillion in October. So from June to October, another 4 trillion. While Bitcoin was rejected multiple times at 68,000 resistance level, this suggests the rally to 64 is unlikely to be rooted in the U.S. fiscal situation. That's right. Additional evidence weakening this relationship is that the U.S. dollar has strengthened against other major global currencies, as measured by the U.S. dollar index we know as the DXY, which rose rose to 102.5 October 7th, up from 100 on September 30th. If investors fear that the U.S. government debt is spiraling out of control, why are they cashing out the euros, British pounds, or Swiss francs? A good question. Let's discuss this recent U.S. macro data, not favorable for the Bitcoin price, according to these analysts. To understand why the Bitcoin price has consistently failed to sustain levels above 66 over the past 8 weeks, one should begin analyzing what is limiting the improvement of the investor sentiment. For example, uncertainties, yes, that's not good, regarding global economic growth, the escalating Middle East conflict, that didn't help, and the impact of the upcoming November U.S. presidential elections are significant factors. Less than a month out, November 5th. I hear lots of whales are on the sidelines waiting to see the results. The stronger than expected September U.S. jobs data released October 4th reduced the odds of an economic recession. However, it also caused the implied probability of a 0.5% interest rate cut to drop to zero, down from 40% just 2 weeks earlier. According to the CME FedWatch tool, higher interest rates for a longer period make investors more risk adverse, which is detrimental to the Bitcoin price. Next, let's discuss Bitcoin derivative metrics and spot ETF outflows. Despite the overall bullishness in the global stock market, Bitcoin's price has been unable to sustain levels above 66, and more importantly, derivative traders' sentiment remains neutral. The monthly Bitcoin futures market's annualized premium serves as a primary gauge of bullishness. In neutral markets, those derivative contracts typically trade at a 5 to 10% annualized premium to compensate for the longer settlement period. However, if demand for levered longs, which are buys, increase, the premium can easily surpass 15 to 20%. Conversely, periods of bearishness result in negative premiums, also known as backwardation. So there you go there. And let's pull up some of the headlines here. Breaking news: Hong Kong to approve more Bitcoin and crypto exchanges this year. Let's go. And as you know, Hong Kong already has spot Bitcoin ETFs. And Max Kaiser shared some news reminding the Muslims. I've been telling Muslims this since 2011. Waiting for this guy or some mullah costs the average Muslim billions in opportunity costs. It is so freaking obvious. Bitcoin is okay under Sharia law. No riba, duh. Here's my piece written from 2012. Should Palestine switch from the shekel to the Bitcoin? And he shares the proof of work, and that was off the back of this news earlier in the year. 90-year-old Saudi Arabian Salafic cleric writes a fatwa deeming Bitcoin acceptable under Islam. So there you go. And checking out some of the live charts. This should be the 1 hour on your screen right here. This is brought to you via TradingView, via Coinbase, the largest crypto exchange here in the United States. It shows you here Bitcoin trading. Again, this is live. Trading above 62,200. We do have a falling wedge formation here in the hourly, but we do have a bullish target sitting pretty at 65,200, roughly 3,000 above the current spot price. And zooming out a little, we'll check out the 4 hour and work our way backwards. 4 hour chart shows you a bullish blue target sitting all the way at 81,300, which will take us into price discovery. Current price discovery, which means all-time high, is at 73.8, which we achieved back in mid-March earlier this year. We do have a bearish target in the green sitting all the way down at $40,800. So ironic. We have the bullish 80,000 target and the bearish 40,000 target. And right now we're practically in the middle at roughly 62. And zooming out from here, we'll check out the 1 day. Survey says we got a rising wedge. We do have some bearish targets, one in the pink sitting at 47.7 and one in the green sitting at roughly $40,900. Zooming out from here, we have the sexy 1 week chart, which has that cup and handle pattern still sitting strong at 124,000, which I believe is still in play for Q4 of this year. Let me know if you agree, disagree. And zooming out from there, let's check out the 1 month. We've had roughly 7 months of sideways trading action. Before that, we had roughly 7 months of bullish monthly candle closes. But what will October bring us is the $1 million question. You let me know your thoughts, family. But anyways, let's continue with the news. Satoshi, big documentary being released tonight. on HBO. And next up, Nick Szabo. We're going to be discussing. We discussed, what's his name? Len Sassaman, who many believed is him. And now on Polymarket, most people are betting that it's Nick Szabo. It's a mystery. I know I've heard Elon Musk, when asked who Satoshi is, he thinks it's Nick Szabo. So this will be an interesting read. Let's discuss it. A new HBO documentary airing today, October 8th, has teased that they have discovered the real Satoshi Nakamoto, the synonymous inventor of the Bitcoin. And while it could be a marketing trick, the announcement has fueled renewed speculation as to who could be the inventor of Bitcoin. Who do you think it is, family? One person that has been tipped as the potential real Satoshi is Nick Szabo, the American cryptographer, legal scholar, and computer scientist who has contributed greatly to the blockchain sector since the early 90s. That too, says Szabo, was contributing to the blockchain before Bitcoin was even a thing. Szabo graduated from the University of Washington with a degree in computer science in 1989. He also holds a Juris Doctor degree from George Washington University Law School. And in 94, Szabo introduced the term smart contracts, to bring surety into the digital realm via code. Smart contracts went on to become the basis of the wider blockchain industry. So there we go. They're crediting him with inventing the term smart contract back in 94, 2 years before Max Kaiser patented digital currencies, interestingly enough. Now in 1998, Szabo proposed a new form of currency called the BitGold. Szabo's BitGold was different from other currencies because it was entirely digital. Sounds familiar. It didn't require any intermediaries and solved the double spend problem via the proof of work. Szabo's BitGold network used a chain of proof of work cryptographic solutions, but relied on a quorum of addresses rather than a quorum of computing power to reach consensus. This is said to have made a BitGold susceptible to Sybil attacks. Szabo went on to describe the reasoning for his theoretical currency thusly, quoting him here: "A long time ago, I hit upon the idea of BitGold. The problem, in a nutshell, is that our money currently depends on trust in a third party for its value. As many inflationary and hyperinflationary episodes during the 20th century demonstrated, this is not an ideal state of affairs. If you know anything about Bitcoin, and this all sounds more than a little familiar to you, you not only the one to spot the similarities. BitGold is widely considered to be one of the major precursors to Bitcoin. And in October of 2008, 10 years after Szabo first produced BitGold, Satoshi Nakamoto published the infamous Bitcoin white paper. Speculation as to the real identity of Satoshi is almost as old as Bitcoin itself. But over the years, a number of contenders have emerged, with Szabo amongst the most popular. Now diving deeper into the documentary being aired tonight. The inventor of Bitcoin may remain a mystery for now or forever, but thanks to a new HBO documentary that claims to finally unmask Nakamoto, speculation has erupted on the prediction market for Polymarket. And as you can see, Nick Szabo leading the pack. Then Adam Back, then Les Sassaman, followed by David Kleinman. So yeah, Les Sassaman was an early top contender, but Szabo has gone out to take the commanding lead. His chances are rated in the double digits, while every other contender remains in single figures. The case for Nick Szabo as Satoshi rests on several pillars, some of which we have already touched upon. The first is the invention of the BitGold, Szabo's proposed but never realized crypto, which nevertheless shares many conceptual similarities with Bitcoin. And while the BitGold concept is a little rough around the edges when compared to Bitcoin, given that Szabo had a decade to smooth out those rough edges, is it possible he did just that? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the chat. And the second is Szabo's wider contribution to the blockchain and crypto, proving his capability and worth. There is no doubt that Szabo has the technical chops to at least be a Satoshi contender. And in his book, Bitcoin, the Future of Money, author Dominic Frisby contends that Nick Szabo and Satoshi have remarkably similar writing styles. And as a bonus, both men also reference the economist Carl Menger. Nick Szabo is known to be extremely privacy conscious, and Satoshi is rumored to be similarly inclined. Lastly, at every step of the turn, Szabo has denied being Satoshi, exactly what Satoshi would do, placing him in sharp contrast to those who would claim that crown. Obviously, Craig Wright's the only idiot claiming to be fake Toshi, and he got proven wrong in a court. If history teaches us one thing about Satoshi, it is that those who claim to be him almost certainly are not. I second that. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think Nick Szabo could be the infamous creator of the Bitcoin? Or do you think it could be Len or Adam Back or someone else? Or do you think it'll just forever be a mystery? Let me know your thoughts, fam. Welcome everyone just joining the stream. I see we got 5,700 live viewers. Let's go. But anyways, fam, keep the comments flowing. Now that we may know who Satoshi is by this evening, the mystery, will it be solved? Let's discuss the latest between Crypto.com, the exchange, and the SEC. The SEC allegedly sent a Wells notice, which is a precursor to a new lawsuit. And then Crypto.com ultimately just sued the SEC to protect the future of crypto in the United States of America. Let's break it down. Major crypto exchange and service provider Crypto.com, official sponsor of the UFC, is launching a legal battle against the U.S. securities regulator. Good for them. With the goal of protecting the future of the crypto industry in the U.S. That's right. Chris Marszalek, co-founder and CEO of Crypto.com, took to X on October 8th, today, to officially announce the company has filed a suit against the U.S. SEC. Again, good for them. Quoting them here, "This unprecedented action by our company against a federal agency is a warranted response to the SEC's regulation by enforcement regime, which has hurt more than 50 million American crypto holders." Let me know if you're one of those 50 million who have been hurt from the overreaching of the SEC and Eau Claire Gare and the rest of the three stooges. Quoting him again, "We are doing so to protect the future of the crypto industry in the U.S., joining a series of our peers who are actively defending themselves and taking action against a misguided federal agency acting beyond its authorization under the law." That's according to the Crypto.com official announcement. He also promised that the company would use all regulatory tools available to bring certainty to the industry through proper rulemaking. Crypto.com has also petitioned the CFTC and the SEC to confirm categorizing crypto derivative products. In the announcement, Crypto.com indicated that its lawsuit against the SEC follows the company's receipt of a Wells notice from the commission. And according to the exchange, the move by the SEC illustrates that the SEC unauthorized and unjust regulation by enforcement campaign continues despite bipartisan indications that the next administration will take a more constructive and effective approach. Well, so they say. Quoting Crypto.com again, "For now, improper SEC enforcement actions are part of the process of operating a legitimate and licensed crypto business in the U.S. While this is an unprecedented move for our company to file suit against a federal agency, actions by that agency towards our industry have left us no other choice." Do you hear that? No Claire Gare. Trump is going to fire you on day one. No Claire Gare, you better pray Trump don't get into office because you're motherfucking fired, Gary. Crypto.com specified the lawsuit contends that the SEC has unilaterally expanded its jurisdiction beyond statutory limits, meaning it doesn't even have this jurisdiction, and it's shaking everyone down. The exchange also argued the SEC has established an unlawful rule that trades in nearly all crypto assets are securities transactions, no matter how they're sold. And despite receiving a Wells notice from the SEC, Crypto.com exchange said it is business as usual as the platform continues on its pursuit of crypto in every wallet. They're not backing down. Additionally, Crypto.com filed a petition with the CFTC and SEC to confirm through a joint interpretation that certain crypto derivative products are solely regulated by the CFTC. In citing joint rulemaking under the Dodd-Frank Act, Crypto.com stressed that any market participant is free to ask the CFTC and SEC whether a product is a swap, which is a security-based swap, or a mixed swap. And under these joint rules, the agencies have 120 days to either issue a jointly approved interpretation or to deny an interpretation. If authorities deny the requested interpretation, they should provide the reasons for not issuing the interpretation versus providing no clarity. Mr. No Clarity Gary. The agencies must consult with the Federal Reserve Board of Governors and can also engage in joint rulemaking and consultation with the Fed. And again, this is according to Crypto.com. How do you think this will likely play out? Holla at your boy. Next story of the day. Let's discuss these 4 predictions for the election less than a month out. And then we'll have some bullish price predictions and then some live Q&A. And then the after party uncensored extended version of the pod where we can talk uncensored, baby. This headline reads 4 bull predictions for the Bitcoin in the 2024 presidential election. And we're going to get right into the fruit and veggies, as I say, because I'm a vegetarian. So I'm not into the meat and potatoes, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, number 1, regardless of who wins, Gary Gensler may be out. You hear that, Gary? You're fired, brother. Get the frick out of here. SEC chair, No Claire Gare, has made a few friends in the crypto community. I think not. Since taking over at his agency, while he has racked up some notable wins, his regulation by enforcement approach has also suffered losses in the courts. Former President Trump promised to fire Gensler should he be elected. But this has never actually happened before. Traditionally, the SEC chairs resign when there is a change of the White House during their term. If we see a win by Vice President Harris, please say no. It would be unsurprising for her administration to take a similar stance as her opponent in an attempt to get in the industry's good graces. Change is in the air. Next up, a Harris victory could benefit Bitcoin and a Trump victory could favor Ethereum. I just want to point out, I think regardless of who wins, this is just coming from JV here, not the article. I think Bitcoin wins regardless of who wins the election because Bitcoin is not dependent upon any politician. Bitcoin is going to continue to do its thing regardless of who is in office. I just want to get that off my chest. But anyways, back to the article. Bitcoin has largely acted as a commodity that sees inflows when U.S. interest rates are lowered and capital becomes cheaper. Given that a Harris admin is likely to see a continuation of the current monetary policy and higher levels of government spending, the crypto market should hold steady and possibly climb. Conversely, a Trump victory would mean incentives for crypto companies to incubate in the U.S., which is something the country has been lacking. An argument could be made that under a Trump administration, a clearer regulatory framework will be forthcoming. I agree. And as a result, more opportunities within the world of decentralized finance. Well, Trump did just recently drop a decentralized finance platform along with their own coin to go along with it. So given DeFi ecosystems are largely built on Ethereum, a Trump administration is likely to benefit it and other layer 1 protocols. Next prediction. A Harris administration could see the introduction of a crypto capital gains tax. Say it ain't so. While the electoral victory would allow Harris to formulate her own policy agenda, she has served 3.5 years in an administration that has entertained the ideas of crypto-specific capital gains tax. Given the amount of capital that is set to flow into the asset class, it is hard to see a world in which the U.S. government doesn't try to take its slice of the pie as crypto becomes embedded with traditional finance. Increased taxes seems less likely under a Trump administration, given his platform has heavily professed the desire to look out for the crypto diehards. I've even heard some speculation that Harris would propose a unrealized gain tax on all investments, not just crypto related, but also your house. Imagine having to pay unrealized taxes on your house. And then, how would you even be able to afford it? What if you're sitting on all that equity? You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, your house is up $200,000, so therefore you got to pay capital gains tax on that $200,000. But then you're like, yo, it's unrealized. And they're like, we don't care. This is the law. Follow the law. It's kind of getting wild. And also I heard she's looking to more than double capital gains tax from what I saw, from 20% to 45%. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that doesn't sound good to me. We don't want higher taxes. Her plea is, I come from a middle-class family. Well, how are we going to get more money? We're just going to tax the rich. Well, guess what, Harris? The rich don't pay taxes. They're too smart. They're not stupid. So you're not going to get extra money by taxing the wealthy. Wealthy don't pay taxes. I highly doubt you even pay your taxes, for Christ's sake, because you're just pretending to be poor. We know you're not poor. Come on now. I digress. Trump will release a formal plan on Bitcoin and digital assets ahead of the election. Let's go. While Harris has been largely quiet about digital assets on the campaign trail, mentioning them only in passing alongside other emergent tech, Trump has been formally courting the crypto vote. Obviously, he spoke at the Nashville event, and he said some very prolific things for Bitcoin, including making America a Bitcoin mining hub. I also recall him saying they're going to stockpile Bitcoin and not sell it. And then ironically, within 2 weeks after he made that announcement, the Democrats sent 200,000 Bitcoin that the U.S. government confiscated to an exchange, potentially to sell it off. So it just goes to show you there is a war on crypto, family. Now, change almost always takes far longer than expected and transpires differently than planned. Bitcoin no different. The mission and message behind Bitcoin is perhaps the most powerful signal of liberating forces in centuries. However, institutions that hold power are the ones that stand to lose the most if the core tenets of Bitcoin and crypto are realized. Well, let me know in the comments who you're voting for and who do you think will win most likely the presidential election. But let's continue with the news. Our next bullish headline here reads, Trader predicts Q4 fireworks for Bitcoin. Says Bitcoin prime for the mid-October breakout. Here's the price target. Let's break her down. Synonymous analyst known as Tech Dev said in a new analysis, Bitcoin's relative strength index, which we commonly cover during our TA, that's the RSI, has built a bottoming structure and is flashing early signs of possibly reversing into the new leg up. The RSI indicator is a momentum oscillator used to determine whether an asset is oversold or overbought. The RSI values range from 0 to 100, with the level between 70 to 100 indicating an asset is overbought, while 0 to 30 indicates an asset oversold, quoting Tech Dev right here. We're also at the same number of weeks from the prior impulse top as we were when the all-time high breakout began during the 2014-2017 period. Looking more closely, we can see the potential for an RSI breakout forming, as outlined here in the chart. Compare this to the last time we saw a similar setup in the yellow zone. Then the breakout in the RSI was a key indicator of the larger market shift that followed. The analyst shares this chart you can see on your screen, and he expects Bitcoin to surge to $90,000 in that ballpark by sometime in November or December. Let me know if you agree. Quoting the analyst, with confluence, that outlook puts a final consolidation against the upper trend line where it would be expected. I am eyeing mid-October for the breakout from this exhausting correction. On the high time frame, it has formed a literal horizontal line on the high time frames. I'll keep an eye on any potential deviations from the expected orange path and provide updates if we see any shifts. So there you go, yo. Let me know if you agree, disagree. 90 G's in play here, Q4. I believe that's a very modest, very obtainable target, but you let me know your thoughts. Now for our feature story of the day, VC billionaire venture capitalist Tim Draper says Bitcoin would have already hit 250,000 fast under this condition. So he believes one thing in particular is holding us back from that $250,000 target. So let's break this mofo down. And shout out to Tim Draper. He has the best eyebrows in all of Bitcoin. I mean, the only one with superior eyebrows to this guy was Pai Mei from Kill Bill. The guy with the big white beard. Gordon Liu plays the character. You know what I mean? But I digress. In the interview, a new one, venture capitalist investor stated Bitcoin will meet his 250,000 predictions when the regulatory impediments hindering the crypto industry are removed, meaning once we get rid of Gary Gensler. Ironic, eh? He further blamed the US SEC for scuffing the nascent sector and limiting its growth. And that's precisely why Gary is in office. You know what I mean? SEC hindered the 250,000 price prediction, according to Draper. He noted the prediction that Bitcoin would trade at $250,000 per coin would have already materialized, if not for the SEC's iron-handed approach to the crypto sector. You can thank No Claire Gare for that one, yo. For context, the VC investor asserted in 2018, Bitcoin would trade for $250,000 in 4 years. This came after his earlier speculation that the asset would hit 10,000 by 2017, which materialized. In fact, by 2017, we hit almost 20,000. I remember I was there. I got involved in Bitcoin in 2017, back when Bitcoin was 1,500, and by December, Christmas, it was almost 20 G's. So he underestimated the target, and we actually, under promise, over delivered. So kudos to Draper. However, 2 years after the deadline, the 250,000 prediction has yet to come to fruition. And Draper argues that this is because the SEC has hindered the sector's growth. The American billionaire stated the regulator uses outdated policies to scuffle the innovation, which is precisely what it is. He's calling a spade a spade. Notably, Draper's $250,000 price prediction coincides with other analysts' assertions. For instance, Standard Chartered Bank head of digital asset research Geoff Kendrick, and I ain't talking about Kendrick Lamar, they not like us, stated Bitcoin will trade at 200,000 by next year regardless of the November election outcome. So Standard Chartered Bank's head analyst Geoff, and FYI, the primary shareholder of Standard Chartered, the major bank, is, believe it or not, BlackRock. They believe that we'll hit 200,000 next year in 2025 regardless if Trump or Harris is in office. So if that's not bullish, I don't know what is. Meanwhile, Draper urged the SEC to discard the dark regulatory cloud, please, evident in the U.S., and embrace the digital innovation. The VC investor warned the innovation will move abroad exactly what it has been doing in El Salvador if the U.S. fails to create an enabling environment for the crypto. Draper noted that cryptos should be treated as other assets. And according to him, digital assets should have clear regulations like other asset classes if they are genuinely considered currencies. Meanwhile, the venture capitalist investors stated that the ill regulation of the cryptocurrencies would cost the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, his job. In fact, in the interview, Draper noted Gensler has mismanaged the crypto sector and it would lead to his removal. You're fired, Gary. I can't wait for Trump to say that. Notably, Draper is not alone in his assertions of Gensler's removal. Key crypto players like Ripple boss Brad Garlinghouse and Skybridge managing partner Scaramucci have noted the SEC chair will be out of the job regardless of the outcome of the November election. Nevertheless, the November U.S. election has been tipped to substantially impact the Bitcoin price. Notably, the crypto sector has become a major topic in the election, with both Republican and Democrat candidates teasing their embrace of the industry and providing clear regulations, or so forth. While a few analysts have speculated the Bitcoin will fall substantially if Vice President Harris wins and surge, if Trump wins, some industry leaders believe that the sector will thrive regardless of who becomes the next president, and I'm in that camp. I believe Bitcoin's going to do its thing. It's on its own trajectory, and the inevitable is going to happen. Bitcoin's going to hit 6 figures, reach new all-time highs, and blow your mind with or without Trump. But nonetheless, you let me know your thoughts. I'll read your comments out loud and welcome everyone just joining the live stream. Appreciate y'all. We have 62 hundo people on the live stream. Make some noise for that. Yeah, I mean, Gary was mentored by Glenn Ellison at the MIT Fiancé School, Caroline's dad. Yeppers. Trump should be doing it live like he did with his TV show. You're fired. I know, like The Apprentice. Bring back The Apprentice specifically to fire frickin' Gensler. It's going to get the best ratings you've ever had, Trump. I know you live for the ratings. If you live for the ratings, every Bitcoiner around the world will be tuned in to watch you fire Gensler on The Apprentice. Resurrected, whatever you want to call it. Let's go.